శుభోదయం. నా పేరు గుర్రం శ్రీనివాస్ రెడ్డి. నేను ఈ తెలుగు ఆంటర్ప్రెన్యూర్స్ అసోసియేషన్ ఫౌండర్, తర్వాత చైర్మన్, ఈ ఔత్సుక సంఘానికి వ్యవస్థాపక సభ్యుడిని. మేము ఈ సంవత్సరము మాది టీ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ 10వ వార్షికోత్సవం. ఈ సందర్భంగా మేము జనవరి నుండి ఇప్పటి వరకు ప్రతి నెలకి ఒక ఈవెంట్ కండక్ట్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నాము వేరియస్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ మీద. మా మెయిన్ గోల్ వచ్చేసి ఫాస్టరింగ్ ఆంటర్ప్రెన్యూర్షిప్ అమాంగ్ తెలుగు కమ్యూనిటీ. ఇక్కడ అమెరికాలో ఉండొచ్చు, ఇది గ్లోబల్గా మేము ఫోకస్ పెడతా ఉన్నాము. తెలుగు ఆంటర్ప్రెన్యూర్స్ అసోసియేషన్ స్థాపించింది మాత్రము డాలస్ టెక్సస్లో 2010. సో ఈ సందర్భంగా మేము ఈ నెల వెబినార్ జూన్ 13th రోజు కండక్ట్ చేశాము. దానికి 4 ప్రముఖమైన పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలు, తర్వాత ప్రజాసేవకులు, ఎంతో అనుభవజ్ఞులు. మా ముఖ్యమైన 4 ముఖ్యమైన వ్యక్తి వచ్చేసి డాక్టర్ వివేక్ వెంకటస్వామి. వారికి పాపం ఎంత బిజీగా ఉన్నా కూడా మేము అడగగానే ఒప్పుకొని రాత్రి దాదాపు 1 గంట మధ్యరాత్రి ఎర్లీ మార్నింగ్ 1 o'clock వరకు కూడా ఉండి కాల్లో ఉండి మేము అడిగిన ప్రశ్నలు అన్నిటికీ సమాధానం ఇస్తూ మంచి అమూల్యమైన సందేశాన్ని, వారి అనుభవాలని పంచుకోవడం జరిగింది. అంటే ఈ కరోనా మా సబ్జెక్ట్ వచ్చేసి బిఫోర్ ఆఫ్టర్ కరోనా అండ్ ఎకానమీ. కరెంట్గా ఎట్లా ఎకానమీకి ఇది ఎట్లా ఎఫెక్ట్ అవుతుంది అనేది. సో వీరు సరి అయిన వ్యక్తులు. ఎందుకంటే అందరూ బిజినెస్ పరంగా చాలా రాణించిన వారు. తర్వాత ముఖ్యంగా వివేక్ గారు తను స్వయాన డాక్టర్ కాబట్టి ఈ విషయంలో చాలా అనుభవజ్ఞులు. మేము ఈ సందర్భంగా V6 తర్వాత టెక్నికల్ బృందానికి, విలేకరులకి, ఎడిటర్కి, అందరికీ మా యొక్క ప్రత్యేకమైన కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాము. మేము చేసే ప్రతి కార్యక్రమాన్ని వారు అడగగానే ప్రచారం చేయడము, తెలుగు సమాజానికి తీసుకెళ్లడము, మా యాక్టివిటీస్ని ఈ సపోర్ట్ ఇచ్చినందుకు మేము చాలా కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాము. మా 2వ గెస్ట్ వచ్చేసి డాక్టర్ ఎంఎస్ రెడ్డి. తను డెన్వర్, కాలరాడో నుండి. తను సైంటిస్టు, PhD చేసి విరాలజీ అండ్ మైక్రోబయాలజీలో తను PhD చేసినారు. తను ఈ చీజ్ ఇండస్ట్రీలో, డైరీ అండ్ చీజ్ ఇండస్ట్రీలో ఎన్నో ప్యాటెంట్స్ ఉన్నవి తనకి. తర్వాత తను కూడా స్వయాన ఒక సక్సెస్ఫుల్ ఆంటర్ప్రెన్యూర్, ఆల్మోస్ట్ బిలియనియర్. ఈ మధ్య కాలంలో ఈ కరోనా వైరస్ ఎట్లా ఎఫెక్ట్ చేస్తూ ఉంది, దానికి మన ఇండియన్ సమాజానికి ఏ విధమైనటువంటి ఇబ్బందులు వస్తున్నవి, మనకున్నటువంటి అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఏంది, మనం తినే పదార్థాల్లో, తర్వాత ఈ మన అలవాట్లు, మన ఏమంటారు, మన అంటే యాన్సెస్ట్రల్గా మనం ఫాలో అవుతున్నటువంటి కస్టమ్స్, అది ఏ విధంగా ఈ కరోనా ప్రివెన్షన్కి ఉపయోగపడుతుందనే సబ్జెక్ట్ మీద చాలా క్లుప్తంగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసినారు. మాకు వారు టీ ఆర్గనైజేషన్కి ఎప్పటికీ చేదోడు వాదోడుగా ఉంటూ ఎప్పుడు మేము అడగగానే కాదనకుండా ప్రతి సబ్జెక్ట్లో కూడా వారి సపోర్ట్ చాలా ఇస్తున్నారు మాకు. వారికి కూడా మేము ప్రత్యేక కృతజ్ఞతలు. తర్వాత మాకు వచ్చిన గెస్ట్లలో 3వ గెస్ట్ వచ్చేసి శ్రీ మాగుంట శ్రీనివాసులు రెడ్డి గారు. తను ఒంగోలు ఎంపీ. తను ఈసారి 4వ టర్మ్ ఎంపీగా చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. వారు కూడా ఎంతో అనుభవజ్ఞులు, పారిశ్రామికవేత్త, 1000 కోట్ల ఇండస్ట్రీ ఉన్నటువంటి వ్యక్తి, ఎంతో అనుభవజ్ఞులు. తను కూడా రాత్రి లేట్ అయినా కూడా దాదాపు మార్నింగ్ 1 o'clock వరకు కూడా ఓపికతో ఉండి మేము అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్లన్నిటికీ సమాధానం ఇస్తూ, ముఖ్యంగా జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారి ప్రభుత్వము ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రంలో ఏ విధమైనటువంటి సహాయక చర్యలు, నిరోధక చర్యలు, తర్వాత మనస్థైర్యాన్ని, ధైర్యాన్ని ప్రజలకు అందిస్తూ ఏ విధంగా ముందుకెళ్తుందనే దాని సబ్జెక్ట్ మీద కూడా చాలా క్లుప్తంగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసినారు. మాకు వివేక్ గారు కూడా అదే విధంగా మోదీ ప్రభుత్వము ఎలాంటి సహాయక చర్యలు ఈ లాక్డౌన్ పీరియడ్లో ప్రజలు పడ్డ ఆర్థిక ఇబ్బందులకు కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం ఎట్లాంటి సహాయాలు అందించింది, తర్వాత మోదీ గారి ముందు చూపు వల్ల ఎంతో లాక్డౌన్ చేయటము ఎర్లీగా దాని ఉపయోగాలు ఏంటివి అనే దాని మీద కూడా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసినారు. తర్వాత ఈ కరోనాతో కొన్ని బిజినెస్ పరంగా వచ్చిన అవకాశాలని కూడా వాళ్ళు క్లుప్తంగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసినారు. నాలుగో స్పీకర్ వచ్చేసి యుఎస్ కాంగ్రెస్మెన్ పీట్ సెషన్. తను టెక్సస్ రాష్ట్రం నుండి రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. తను చాలా సీనియర్ మోస్ట్ కాంగ్రెస్మెన్ రిపబ్లికన్ పార్టీ నుండి. ఇప్పటికైనా 12వ సారి, ఆల్మోస్ట్ 25 years నుంచి చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. తను వేరియస్ కమిటీ చైర్మన్స్ కూడా చేసినారు. ముఖ్యంగా వీరికి మోదీ అన్న, ఇండియన్స్ చేస్తున్న సేవలు, అమెరికాలో చేస్తున్న సేవలు చాలా మంచిగా కొనియాడతారు. చాలా ఇష్టం తనకి ఇండియన్స్ అంటే. ఎందుకంటే మనము జాబ్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం కానీ జాబులు తీసుకువెళ్ళటోళ్ళం కాదు. వెల్త్ క్రియేషన్ చేసి ఇక్కడే నివసిస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి మనం వెల్త్ను ఇండియాకి కానీ వేరే ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేసే వాళ్ళం కాదు. సో ఎన్నో విధాల మన సేవలు ఈ దేశం అమెరికాకి ఉపయోగపడుతున్నాయని గట్టిగా నమ్మే వ్యక్తుల్లో తనొకడు.
Very interesting subject, before Corona and after Corona. I think rightly started off by Dr. M.S. Reddy, who gave in a very simple way what is a virus, why people live with so many viruses, and how this coronavirus needs to be tackled. I think Dr. Garu, thank you very much for that small brief. And I think Mr. Sessions spoke about the Indo-American friendship and how to strengthen it more. And our great friend, Mr. Srinivasa Reddy Garu, really gave a good picture of how Prime Minister Modi took this up and how the issue is being tackled in India. I think most of the points have been covered, but I'll add a couple of more points to fill up the gaps here and there. And I am also of the view, as Dr. M.S. Reddy said, that Corona is here to stay. It will be here for a long time. We need to live with Corona, because if we don't live with Corona, I think we'll get into other economic problems and mentally we'll get affected. So I think this is a good way to say, yes, we need to do wash your hands, wear your mask, do social distancing. And I think one of the most important things is how to develop immunity. And as you rightly mentioned, Indians have a better immunity because we go through a lot of these infections in our younger days due to hygienic conditions, but we are much more stronger than the Western world. As the figures have rightly proved that despite over 2 lakh cases of Corona in India, we just have around 8,000 deaths. And many of these deaths are having comorbidity. That means they are having some other diseases which are really affecting this. And one significant thing which has taken place in India is we have a 130 crore population. So with such a huge numbers of population, to get them onto one path is very, very difficult. To get them onto one platform, to make them understand what this coronavirus is, what one needs to do to handle this kind of a situation. So as our Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Srinivasa Reddy said, on 22nd March, when the Prime Minister declared a curfew, he simply wanted to get the people to on one platform to understand what coronavirus is. And he followed it up with the ringing of the bells and various other measures of lockdown and others. Had these measures not been taken at that point of time, I'm sure the number of deaths which we are seeing, which are controlled now, would have been much more. Because I think at that point of time, the scare of coronavirus was so huge that mentally many of the people were not prepared to tackle this coronavirus. I think with this passage of time, about 60-70 days of time passing by, people have become more stronger now mentally. People now feel, yes, we are in a position to tackle this corona. Let's fight this corona. So I think one of the most positive things that has come out of the lockdown, early lockdown, is that we are now strong mentally to handle this situation. Along with this, what the Prime Minister said, I faced a lot of criticism here. Why did the Prime Minister do a early lockdown? Why are they not taking more measures in giving more monies to the people? But people have to realize that India is not a developed country. It's not having a very high per capita GDP. Here we have just $2,500 is the per capita income of people. So with such small incomes, all the Prime Minister did was he conducted these various sessions to see that people understand what Corona is and how they have to handle this Corona. I know the lockdown has been there for a little longer period, and as Mr. Srinivasan Reddy rightly pointed out, that the migrant labor were a little bit affected, because maybe a shorter lockdown would have helped. But India is a federal setup. I think that is one of the important things everybody should know, that when it is a federal setup, all the state governments have to cooperate with the Prime Minister. And I think the Prime Minister has done a wonderful thing of being in touch with the chief ministers, taking their advice, and then coming to these decisions of extending the lockdown and also relaxing in phases so that the economy also is kick-started. And in this process, in the initial days, when the people were suffering a lot, at least for the poor people, for the rural people, he gave a 1,71,000 crore package, in which at least the essential items of rice, dal, these kind of essential items were supplied to the poor people through the ration shops. And also with the Jan Dhan accounts, which are the poor people have the accounts, the direct money transfers took place. So there were good measures to see that the poor really do not suffer. Then subsequently came up with a 20 lakh package. This 20 lakh package is meant to help the medium scale industries, small scale industries to overcome their working capital issues, to see that their businesses continue. Because the biggest employer in our country after the agricultural sector is the small and medium enterprises. So if these are supported well, and I am sure, I've seen a couple of our colleagues who are having small and medium businesses, they have been given straight away 20% of their current term loans, whatever they are having, and additional credit was given in the form of Corona loans. So this will definitely help these businesses to survive, because when these businesses survive, the employment potential is there, the people don't lose jobs, and the economy can continue. Mr. MS Reddy rightly pointed out, Indian GDP growth, which was 4.5%, is likely to be only 1.2% this year. But one point is there which all of us should recognize, that India is itself a very big market. And if the money flow goes on well into the rural areas, into the poor people, the economy can kickstart very well. The manufacturing sector can again pick up, and the economy can do well. My experience in the last 1.5 months has been the rural markets, because they were starved of the goods in transit. These businesses are picking up well. Actually, they are doing very well. I was surprised in my own company. Lot of cash flows. We never expected that we would get such good cash inflows into our business. But I must say that the rural markets, I don't know from where they brought the money, but a lot of monies have come from the rural side. Even the FMCGs, they were thinking that they will be operating at 30-40%, but suddenly they see that they are forced to operate at 70 to 80%, so that they take care of the demand which has suddenly come up. So I think the rural businesses will do well. This is my prediction for India. The urban businesses have still not started, because the lockdown is still there in the major cities. It will take some time, although partial lockdown is lifted. But over a period of time, I'm sure if the urban businesses also contribute, the economy can be under control. One factor which definitely has an impact on the country's economy is, with all the packages which have been given, the fiscal deficit has gone up. Our fiscal deficit right now is around 11%, as against 15% for USA and about 19% for Japan. But India is not a very financially very strong economy. I know our foreign exchange reserves are very strong. They are at an all-time high of $515 billion. So I think, and with the oil prices coming down, our import bill on the oil prices will be less. So I think we'll have a healthy foreign exchange reserves for this country to move forward. I'm very bullish that the Prime Minister has initiated good measures. We have to balance it out. Like Mr. Sessions was saying earlier, there is need to balance it out economically, politically, because had we not done the lockdown in March and the number of deaths had gone high, the Prime Minister would have had a real difficult problem of solving it. I mean, from the political point, a lot of deaths taking place would have been a disaster from the Indian point of view. So I think we have taken the right path. We are inching forward, and as days pass by, I'm sure India, although we need to be cautious, I feel we need to be cautious because we don't know. We are right now feeling, yes, the peak corona, we are expecting that by end of this month, the peak corona the curve will come down, and things should be much better off. Because as Mr. Machish Reddy rightly pointed out, the number of cases who need hospitalization due to respiratory symptoms are very less. As of now, even today, they are less. Although the numbers of people testing positive are high, the people who are needing treatment in ICU are very less. I'll just give one example. One of our friends came back from Kuwait. He was on a 14-day quarantine. On the 14th day, he tested positive for corona. So he was shifted to Gandhi Hospital. And when he went to Gandhi Hospital, he was feeling, this was Ramzan period, he was a Muslim. He wanted to break the Ramzan, so he wanted fruits and all. So we had to make some arrangements for him, and he was happy that it was done. But after the 14th day, he got well and he went home. So there was nothing there. So this corona comes, goes, we have to live with corona. I think what people say is, don't take the risk with corona, but try to manage corona. So if you manage corona, I think things will do well. And I think I've covered most of the points. And I think some more points are there, which we can cover in the question and answer session. Gandhi Hospital is the COVID hospital, designated COVID hospital. What the government is doing is, it is controlling the center for doing the testing. Because they feel that if it is opened up for the private hospitals and other diagnostic centers, there could be misuse of the testing being done and the cost being very high. So this is one of the restrictions the government thought, and that's why only Gandhi Hospital is the center for the COVID patients. In respect of the services there, I think suddenly what has happened in the last 10 days, the number of patients coming to the hospital have increased multifold. So because of that, the doctor's strength, the staff strength is under pressure. And I think now government is thinking of shifting some of the patients. Actually, for the quarantine, they have been shifting to the Nature Cure Hospital, and they've converted one sports stadium into a hospital. Definitely, a little bit more planning could have saved the situation for the better. So I think we need to put pressure on the authorities to see that more centers are open. Public feel, because although doctors will understand the theory is all need not be tested, but once somebody known to you is tested positive, psychologically you feel that you need to get a test done and then only move forward. So I think this is a battle which the people, government, and everybody have to fight together. And I would not make more comments, but definitely, if a little bit more planning was there, we could have done a better job. In respect of NRIs coming in, and at least in Hyderabad, earlier the rule was you need to be in 14 days quarantine. Then they reduced it to 7 days. So I think if you are able to wait for 7 days and then move out, there are some good places for which we can pay and do the quarantine. And some people have been able to manage of not being in quarantine. So I think over a period of time in the next, when the international travel opens up, you will see that even the 7 days quarantine will go and people can go home and be in self-isolation. I think this is where the earlier discussion which we had will come into play, saying that we need to live with Corona. We need to see that we follow these basic things of wearing a mask, washing your hands, doing social distancing, improving your immunity, and don't go to crowded places. This is one of the things, because I have seen in one of our friends' unit, one person was there who got Corona, so they all got scared. They started searching from where he got the Corona, because nobody else in their office got Corona, and they realized that he got it from the Raitu Bazaar. So this is essential for people to follow. They should not go to crowded places. And I think slowly people will understand that, and the number of cases becoming serious will be less, and we'll start living with Corona.
Andhra Pradesh newly formed state adi అందువల్ల ఏంటంటే infrastructure is being developed there, and our honorable chief minister has done a wonderful work now in this corona period, creating also in all the cities, whether big or small, lot of beds have been created, not only in the government hospitals, private hospitals also have been taken over. And if you see that some of the college hostels also, since now the colleges and schools have been closed, so in the bigger area, and the housing projects that's fully completed and not occupied, like that, all these things under reserve also have been kept. But that kind of serious situation has not come in Andhra Pradesh. Now usually everybody can move freely in Andhra Pradesh. Only thing is people are not allowed to come inside the state freely, because earlier bigger migrant labor and everything, they have been working in some places. Those people have come to the villages, and they have started also this converting into communities, spread everything. Those have been controlled now. So now there are enough beds to take care of any kind of eventuality. There is no problem about it, and all the hospitals are also geared up very well for NRIs coming and everything, as our friend Beck has already told about that. Generally, because now quarantine means paid quarantine, free quarantine, both are there. But who can afford comfortable accommodation is there also, which has been created at a reasonable price and everything. And not only that, now that from 14 days it has been reduced to 7 days. Now almost in some places 3 days time itself they are sending them also. But they have to be there when they go to their villages. There the awareness has come there in the village generally. The villages are objecting. If someone or some foreigner comes, foreigner means a new person comes, they're all giving information also to the police people and healthcare people also. Generally they're all coming and going on checking up the people there, whoever comes there.
There are some states where the testing is low, like in Telangana. In other states like AP, Maharashtra, and there's definitely a feeling in here that more testing should have been done. If more testing was done, psychologically there would have been more better understanding the situation that they can be quarantined and are in isolation so that the disease doesn't spread. So that is one of the things for which testing should have been done in much larger numbers, which was not the case in Telangana. That's why of all the states, if you see, this was the number of tests done here were the lowest. Right now, the government is of the strong opinion that only when symptoms are there, we will take care, or this kind of approach is good enough. So that is one thing which we have also been trying to put pressure on the government. Please increase the number of testings so that you develop a confidence in the people. People need to feel, yes, my government is doing well. When I get a doubt, I'm being tested and I'm having whether I'm positive or not, or I should be in quarantine. So I think overall, by the end of this month, we'll know exactly how the process is going on, and wherever the testing is low, they need to be speeded up. But one thing is there, Venkat Garu, in India, a rural side, this kind of a corona impact is very, very low. I've been going around to most of the rural side, and I see, although they are aware of corona, because their immunity levels are much better, except for some of the people who came from abroad or who came from some of the migrant labor, they have been having the corona, and some of the villages have refused to allow them to move around. So they said you be restricted to your home only. So this kind of a thing is going on. Overall, if you see, the number of deaths in our country are low. So that is a very positive situation, despite the number of corona cases being over 2 lakhs. I'll put it like this. Actually, corona has taught a new way of doing business. We have all seen in the last 70 days that you can work from home, you can do online work. So there's a new lessons the corona has taught us. And I feel strongly, because I'm running my business, and what I've done in the last 2 months was all unwanted expenses are being cut off. So I've made my organization very strong by seeing what are the minimum expenditure that is required to run a business. What segment are we in? So it's teaching us how to use new technology in making a business efficient. I know in the process there will be some heartburns, there will be some this thing, but definitely corona has taught us new ways of doing business. As far as startup companies are concerned, I'm sure if you take what kind of, as Mr. Reddy rightly mentioned, restaurants, malls, these businesses are under pressure. So people have to think of a product which will be useful to work from home, or to see that what kind of logistics are required to run a business. So I think it's like how the flu took place in 1920s. There were different kind of business problems then, and people started learning, yes, that was the right time to build the infrastructure, and America built roads and everything at that point of time. So this corona also will teach us new ways of thinking how to do business. I'm sure it's too early, but many people are thinking what is the new businesses which we can start. And government is definitely coming forward for these kind of things. And I'm surprised that in the beginning of June to now, India has attracted a lot of foreign investments, both into the stock market and also into businesses. So I'm sure there's a lot of money available now for investing, because there are no investments took place in the last 75 days. So if there is a good business proposal, there is enough money to get into those businesses. I mean, I am sure nobody imagined that there are so many migrant workers in India. frankly, I never thought that all the states had migrant workers in all the segments, in construction industry, in manufacturing segment, everywhere the migrant workers are there. And when we checked why migrant workers want to go back, in the initial days, the coronavirus was perceived to be so dangerous that most of the families back home for the migrant workers, they were all putting pressure on them. Please come back. Better to die in our hometown rather than be at the place where you are working. So that became a big sentiment for many of the migrant workers to go back. I'm sure some of the responsible industries, there is a law in India how to look after them. They are supposed to get ESI. They are also supposed to get gratuity. All the other facilities which a normal worker is supposed to get, even a contract workers or a migrant worker is supposed to get. What was the negative thing in this whole process, I feel, which I'm sure the government of India will come back with new legislations for these kind of things, was the migrant worker was not having the benefit of either the local Aadhaar card, the ration shops, or he was getting a benefit in his hometown. That is why the Prime Minister introduced this one nation, one ration, one nation. He can encash the ration card anywhere. This is the new rule which the Prime Minister brought to mitigate the problem of the migrant workers. So now the initial sentiment which was there, that I want to go back and visit my family because I don't know whether I'm going to survive or not. That's why you could see a lot of these migrant workers walking to their places before the trains were introduced to shift them to their native towns. So I think there was an issue, but now this is my experience and some of our friends' experience, that they feel that they have gone back, met their relatives, and if they are called back, they are again going back to work. So because there is no work in those places, and I'm sure if they come back, all the industries will be very willing to take them back. But this will take another month or 2 months for the situation to settle down. What I would feel is in some of the factories, we are not getting workers. Very difficult to get workers. So because local workers many times, I don't know why, they do good work when they go out, but locally they don't want to work. So that's the experience of many of the industries. But I think the need has come for our country to come up with a new legislation for the migrant workers, to give them more facilities, to give them more rights. Because actually, if you see, out of the 70 million, 550 million workers we have, migrant workers are a big chunk and they need to be looked after. And most of the industries now have more contract workers than regular workers. So there is an opportunity here for the government to legislate to see how best they can be taken care of. US, Japan, all these countries want to have an alternate source of raw material or their products. And India is a very good destination as an alternative country. I'm sure Prime Minister and his team are looking into this because there are some state laws also which are involved. There are central laws which are involved. But ultimately, the attraction for the foreign investors to come here, to have transparency when he comes in, to get his work done. There are a lot of states which are saying, okay, we'll give you special packages. We'll see that the single window clearances will help in getting your approvals. So these kind of things needs to be strengthened. They are already there in place, but they need to be strengthened. It's only when they strengthen these policies that I'm sure a lot of investments will come in. And one positive thing is we have a very strong central government, and we are also having very strong states. And I think this combination will definitely help a lot of people to come and invest in India. India cannot have a policy of 12-hour work schedules. There is a law that you have to do only 8 hours. During this lockdown period, for the essential industries, the government allowed them to work for 12 hours. But that was there only during the lockdown period. And some of the states have also introduced that, saying that you can do for 12 hours, so 4 days a week, or something, little bit of alternatives were proposed. But I think all these need to have a comprehensive law that needs to come. And I think working at 8 hours also, and creating a good working atmosphere, the output efficiency will definitely improve in the Indian labor also. I think we need to create that situation. I actually explained this a little bit in my initial brief. I'll again reiterate here. For the poor people in the rural areas who are having Aadhaar cards and all, 10 kilos of rice and 1 kilo of dal was given free to all the people who are having these cards. So more than 60 crore people benefited through these rations. And then more than 20 crore people got 1,500 rupees into their Jan Dhan accounts directly from the government. And then again, all the elderly people who are there, who are handicapped people and senior citizens, they got 3,000 rupees directly into their accounts. So this was the initial package of 1,71,000 crores, which was announced. And also they were, whoever was getting a gas cylinder, they got 3 gas cylinders free in those 3 months. So I'm sure it's very difficult for the government to offset all the expenditure which one goes through, but to a great extent this was done. And one thing that happened, this was to Mr. Naidu also, who asked that question on migrant workers. A lot of NGOs in India, they started serving food to a lot of these migrant workers and poor people. Despite the lockdown, a lot of such activities were done. We were also part of that social responsibility work being done. And the most important thing was the government of India has got this Upadhi Hami Padakam. That means you can work for 3 hours. They were being paying 188 rupees. These people are, that rate was increased to 202 rupees. So the full justice cannot be done, but something was done. Loan components which are there, different kind of loans, so that helps them to run their business, helps them to pay their workers. So this kind of a thing was done. Many people were expecting, I'll be frank with you, I also advocated to the government at Delhi that if they could give some money directly, say 5,000 or 7,000 rupees to all the people who are below the poverty line. So that comes to about 4 lakh crores or something like that. So if that was given also, it would have definitely benefited, so that the economic churn which requires to be done would have taken place. I'm sure the idea is still there with the government. I am hoping that by end of the month or beginning of July, once the businesses kickstart, more employment will be there and less people will lose their jobs. In our country, in India, to waive the interest cost means the banks will go for it. Once the banks go for it, then I think the credit system, everything will get impacted. So they are not able to do, because as I explained in the beginning itself, our fiscal deficit is already 11%, and we can't give more SOPs anymore. I just explained to you my personal experience. When I went back and saw, initially I thought this year I will not have a profit. I will just see that I'll be able to service my employees and my bankers. This is what initially I started in the month of April, while I was thinking how to get back into business. Slowly I was able to see, yeah, there are so many inefficient, cut down what unwanted expenditure was there. And every business over a period of time, these kind of things will set in. First, I mentally made up I became mentally very strong actually of how to handle this issue. I think that self-confidence one should develop and have to get over this crisis. I think I won't be able to tell specifically, but any one of us, I've seen this in my group of industrial friends, when we had a chat, all of them resorted to the same thing. And every business, no matter which business it was, there were a lot of scopes for improvement in their businesses. So I think if that will come to around 10 to 15%, if you are able to your efficiencies by 10 to 15%, you will survive. And if you survive now, that means you will definitely do well in the coming years. But I think MS Reddy garu enti virus enduku bhayapadaddu ee virus tho manam eppudu kuda ఫ్యూచర్ ఇయర్స్ లో కూడా కలిసి ఉండాలి. కానీ దాంట్లో ఏదైతే జాగ్రత్తలు తీసుకోవాలో, దట్ ఈస్ ఫేస్ మాస్క్ వేసుకోవాలి, హ్యాండ్ వాషింగ్ చేసుకోవాలి, సోషల్ డిస్టెన్సింగ్ చేయాలి, ఇమ్యూనిటీ లెవెల్స్, ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఈస్ ఇమ్యూనిటీ లెవెల్స్. ఇమ్యూనిటీ వైటమిన్ సి తీసుకోవాలి, మంచి ఎక్సర్సైజ్ చేయాలి, న్యూట్రిషనల్ వాల్యూ ఫుడ్స్ తీసుకోవాలి టు బి హెల్దీ. దట్ ఈస్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్. And the another point which I felt after these 75 days was mentally we have to be very strong, because once you are mentally strong,
Yes.
you can definitely beat the virus. There is no problem at all. So I think we have to live with the virus, but we should not now slow down. We have to allow economy kuda, economy manchi nadustene employment untundi, మనము we can take care of ourselves and our families and our businesses. So economy should definitely go on, and whatever support government is giving us, let us all utilize it properly and ముందుకు వెళ్ళాలని చెప్పి మంచి సెషన్ కండక్ట్ చేశారు శ్రీనివాస్ రెడ్డి, రవి and his group. Thank you very much.
So giving some opportunity for me also to express my feelings for Telugu Entrepreneurs Association. Mainly, a lot of members are there now, covering here, and I must, gratefully, first appreciate, Dr. MS Reddy's presentation on Corona, and he has given a lot of encouragement, particularly, for the Indian community. As already, he has actually given a lot of interviews to the Indian media also, news media, everything, and we are very happy for that. Mr. Peter Session also has given in a good appreciation about all this economic situation there in US. But India is also, very well, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi is so attached to US, Whoever will be there, President Mr. Trump will be there. And the attachment towards the USA is very, very well connected. A lot of all NRIs, our Telugu community people are also there in big number. They are also looking for good progress and good future in India. As you have mentioned that also, Mr. GS, that all the parents of NRI community are worried here in India also what is happening there in US, and now it's open up only. Even though the lockdown is there up to June 30th of that is this month, and our Honorable Prime Minister has given a lot of relaxations. The people can now, and certain with the qualities and everything, guidelines and restrictions. International travel also has been allowed. The people who got stranded there in US also have been brought back, and the US nationals here in India also have been sent back to US. So these connections are now slowly improving, and this is a shock for all of us. Actually, in the month of March, when the Parliament is in session, we were all there in Delhi also till 23rd of March, and we were all just not serious about the coronavirus because it was not spreading in India. Always we used to look at USA only and other European countries also, wherever it will be there. The spread was growing. But here, luckily, our Honorable Prime Minister has taken a broad view with first of Janata Curfew on March 22nd, and the entire lockdown after closing the Parliament on March 23rd. 24th night itself, he has declared it. So after that, everything has come now under control. As already Dr. MS Reddy has mentioned to you also, but everybody, that this corona is a weak corona, but smart corona. It is spreading everywhere. As now our good friend also, my friend Mr. Vivek also mentioned that everything depends on the tests. If the tests are there, more number, and it will show the positive symptoms. But because of that, now some panic is also now going on in our country. Everybody expects that June and July months will be the high season, peak season also will go, and more number of cases also will be there. That's why now for improving the economy, our Honorable Prime Minister has taken a broad view also, good view about it, and easing the restrictions. The interstate movement now. If you see a lot of vehicles are coming from north to south, south to north, like that, everything is to west. So this has given some boost for the Indian economy. Without economy, because now will be a problem. If you see that in US also, everybody is now thinking of one side economy and one side controlling the corona. That is both the things simultaneously. Ultimately, my Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, has already mentioned, you have to live with it. That is the main thing only. And totally, by controlling corona, you have to activate your business activities in the country. Then only the people can survive also. Otherwise, it will be in a very, very difficult situation. And moreover, that GDP growth will not be there, as Dr. MS Reddy has already mentioned about this. And it will happen also in future. How to control that? Because the economy should not fall further. Main, for a lot of welfare schemes are there, a lot of development schemes are there in our country, which simultaneously everything has to go on only. That's why in a broad view, now a lot of because some concessions about 20 lakh, the package has been 20 lakh crores package also has been announced overall by our Honorable Prime Minister, which is slowly getting into the stream also. Because when there are two types of wealth management, as I already studied about it also. Hoarding of wealth, and second is distribution of wealth. Hoarding of wealth means it will remain with only few people. Distribution of wealth means it will actually give percolation into the market and everything. The retail business will go up also. Now we are going to look into that. Our Honorable Prime Minister is thinking also distribution of wealth. Wealth has to be shared to everybody. Then only the economy also will grow. Because India is basically because farmers are more in India and the backward areas are also more. There itself, the movement of food grains from all over the country also, yes, made it free. Then there itself, in the villages, the economy also will grow. Automatically, distribution of wealth also will be there. So that later, in case of any eventuality, Government of India also can give that to the states for the survival also. These things anyone will see also, and moreover that first thrust is for our Honorable Prime Minister also. Healthcare is important now, which not neglected earlier, but we wanted to also give more money to the states to create the infrastructure, more number of hospitals with all infrastructure facilities. Now we know that in US also how it has been failed because of shortage of ventilators. Now that is the main thing also which is going to happen in our country, and we can see also better India. But we assure you, because now good friend Vivek is also there now, and India is a place now for any investor to come and invest, because a lot of market is there. Now this if you see pharma, groceries, all logistics, everything is going on. But only problem is tourism, hospitality, and pretty well also throughout the world itself, it has come down now. The tourism and airlines business will be there, but it has to be stabilized. Even though airports have been opened also, domestic airports, not international, the people traveling is also slowly, the moment is also going on. So it will take some time, everything also now, because it's a shock, total shock. We have to come out from the shock, and we have to come into the reality. Then only it will happen also. Sorry, I have taken more time.
That's okay. We're good. We're good.
Yeah. Please whatever is there. So the economy in India is going to grow. There is no doubt, and you people also all NRIs and everybody also can come to India and make some investments. because it will take some more time. This is the right time also for people to come into India because the real estate is also in problem and everything. Like that, all industrial, whatever is there, the main thing is that migration of labor in India. That has happened recently. Nobody thought that, so many people are there also working, North Indians working in South and West also like that. The people have gone back to the villages out of fear. Slowly they have to come back. Then all the productivity also will go, which, our Honorable Prime Minister is thinking also, how to bring the people and everything. That is going to happen. And everything we can see the growth, by next month also. Srinivas Garu, firstly, I must congratulate, Telugu Enterprise Association members. అందరినీ కూడా ఒక గుడ్ సెషన్ కి మమ్మల్ని దీంట్లో కూడా ఇన్వైట్ చేసి మా పెద్దలు డాక్టర్ ఎంఎస్ రెడ్డి గారు అయితే చాలా అనుభవం ఉన్న వ్యక్తి గారు. అందులో ఈ వైరస్ అని అంటే వారు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసిన విషయం చూస్తుంటే ఇండియాలో ఇక్కడ ఉన్నవారు కూడా ఎవరు కూడా అంత ఆ విధంగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయలేకపోయారు ఉన్నప్పుడు కూడా. బట్ ఎనీవే మనం సహజీవనం చేయాల్సిన అవసరం ఉన్నది కాబట్టి ఈ వైరస్ లో లక్షణాలన్నీ కూడా జాగ్రత్తగా మనం కాపాడుకుంటూ జాగ్రత్తలు కూడా తీసుకొని మనం ముందుకు వెళ్ళి మన ఎకానమీని కూడా మనం ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకునే దాని కొరకు మనం వెళ్ళవలసిన అవసరం ఉంది. కాబట్టి దయచేసి మీకు అందరికి కూడా ఎన్ఆర్ఐస్ కూడా చెప్పుకునేది ఏమిటంటే ఇండియాలో ఒక భయంకరమైన వాతావరణం ఉంది అని అనుకోకండి. చాలా హ్యాపీ వాతావరణం ఉన్నది. మన ప్రధానమంత్రి గారు మోడీ గారైనా, ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ లో జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారైనా కూడా ఒక మంచి వాతావరణాన్ని ఇప్పుడు క్రియేట్ చేసి రావాలని దృష్టిలో చూస్తున్నారు. కాబట్టి మీరు కంఫర్టబుల్ గా ఇక్కడికి రావచ్చు. ఉన్నప్పుడు వచ్చిన తర్వాత మీ ఫ్యామిలీస్ వారందరూ కూడా చూసుకొని కూడా వెళ్ళవచ్చు. ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ చేయాలని అనుకున్నప్పుడు ఇది రైట్ టైం. అది మా వల్ల ఏ విధంగా ఏదన్నా ఉపయోగపడుతున్నాం అంటే జస్ట్ డైరెక్ట్ ఎవ్రీబడి టు అస్. మేము కూడా ఇందులో సాయం చేసుకునే దాని కొరకు ఎప్పుడు కూడా ముందుంటాం. ఎస్పెషలీ మాగుంట కుటుంబం అంటే మీకు అందరు కూడా పరిచయం ఉన్న కుటుంబం కాబట్టి వీఆర్ ఆల్ ఇంట్రెస్టెడ్ జస్ట్ హెల్పింగ్ ఎవ్రీబడి. అందువల్ల దయచేసి మీకు మరొకసారి కూడా తెలుపుకునేది ఏమిటంటే ఇండియా అంటే ఒక భయంకరమైన పరిస్థితుల్లో ఉన్నదని అనుకోకండి. బట్ సేఫ్టీ అనేది రిక్వైర్మెంట్ అనేది కూడా ఎంతో అవసరం కాబట్టి అందరం కలిసి మనం పనిచేస్తాం. మీరు మేమనేది కాకుండా ఫస్ట్ భారతీయులు, ఆ తర్వాత ఆంధ్రులు కూడా. ఎప్పుడు మేము అందరం కూడా ఒక వారిని కాబట్టి ఎనీథింగ్ జస్ట్ కమ్ ఫార్వర్డ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ వీఆర్ హియర్ టు టేక్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ యువర్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్. థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి. అందరికీ నమస్కారాలు అండి. నమస్కారం.